Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this meeting to order and thank you guys for coming tonight. Could you everybody stand and please salute the flag with me? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I just want to point out that on one of the swearing-ins for Officer McGaw, he was previously sworn in, so he's not being sworn in tonight. And then item 5.6 is going to be pulled.
5.6 is going to be pulled. Okay. Do I have an approval for the agenda? Okay, a motion's been made. Do I have a second? Okay, motion's been made by Ramirez and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Horn. Roll call, please.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Singleton,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to number 2, awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. The first one is the Coalinga Firefighter of the Year 2020, firefighter paramedic Mitchie Baggett.
Good evening, council, city staff, and guests. It's my honor to announce firefighter paramedic Michelle Baguette as the City of Coalinga Firefighter of the Year. Michelle has been with the department since August of 2018 and exemplifies what a Coalinga firefighter should be. Michelle's dedication to the department is demonstrated in her daily activity. Not a moment goes by where Michelle is not doing something to make the department better, whether it's perfecting his own skills or helping others, volunteering for projects to maintenance of safety grounds. Michelle is constantly busy in between calls working at making the department better. Michelle is the go-to guy when it comes to paramedicine. He is always willing to help and has a passion for teaching others. He has recently become a Fresno County paramedic preceptor and will help train and evaluate future paramedics. Michelle is also the lead instructor for the Wildland module of the 2020 CFE Recruit Academy. Michelle has earned this award through a nomination by his peers. According to his peers, Michelle is one of the hardest working firefighters in the department. His dedication and professionalism are noticed and makes them all want to be better. He supports others to help them achieve their goals and supports the goals and vision of the department. Everything he does is to either better himself, the department, or the fire service as a whole. Please join me in congratulating Michelle Baguette as the 2020 City of Coalinga Firefighter of the Year.
Thank you.
Today, the city is giving you a certificate that states Coalinga Firefighter Paramedic Michelle Baguette, 2021 Firefighter of the Year. On behalf of the city of Coalinga, we would like to congratulate you on your selection as Firefighter of the Year award by the Coalinga Chamber of Commerce. Your hard work and contributions to the community and Chamber of Commerce is very much appreciated. Signed, Bob Ramsey here.
Michelle, would you like to say anything?
No, but thank you very much. It's really a blessing, an honor to be able to serve the city and really feel home here. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. Okay, next we have the City Police Officer of the Year 2020, Police Officer Tony T.J. Henderson. Chief?
Come on up, little Anthony. Let him steal the show again. Mayor, council, and family and friends that are here tonight to honor Tony T.J. Henderson with this prestigious award of Police Officer of the Year for the Coalinga Police Department for 2020. 2021. I don't know what I can say about Tony. I've known Tony's family for many of years. His dad was a very good friend of mine, and he was the first officer I rode with when I started with this department. So it's an honor for me to bring Tony on to our agency. And come on, buddy. And he has done service to this community at the top level that anyone can do. It's an honor to work side by side with him and see him grow as a police officer. Tony, I'm gonna break down here. Tony means a lot to me. He's done very well in his life as a father, as a husband, as a son, to his mom and dad, and to his brothers. And it's just a good honor to work side by side with him. And he has done his job to the best of his ability. He's done this community proud, and he goes out continuously every day and does his job and puts his life on the line for this community and doesn't think twice about what he does. It's an honor to work with him. So on behalf of the city of Coalinga, we would like to congratulate you on your selection of Police Officer of the Year award by the City Chamber of Commerce. Your hard work and contribution to the community and Chamber of Commerce is very appreciated. Signed, Ron Ramsey, Mayor. And then on behalf of the Coalinga Police Officer, Coalinga Police Department, Coalinga Police Officer Tony T.J. Henderson has been selected as Coalinga Police Officer of the Year for 2021. Your hard work and dedication to the department and community is appreciated and is to be recognized.
Call me out, I guess I would. I'm honored to work here in the city of Coalinga. It's a great place to be. Chief, thank you for making it hard for me to talk now. Chief brought me on and gave me a chance, which I will always appreciate. He gave me a career. The only way I can pay you back is to just keep working hard. I'll keep doing that, so thank you. And to all my partners that I work with every day that are out missing birthdays and family events and everything, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for getting my back. And to my family for giving me a support system when I get home. We all need that when we get off. So love you guys. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. TJ, we appreciate everything you do. Thank you. Okay, next we'll go swearing in of the police department employees. Officer Nathan McGrath, Officer Greg Gonzalez, Officer Travis Johnson, Officer Lee Smith, Police Technician Rosa Marquez, Police Technician Christy Alvarado, Temporary Sergeant Christopher Montoya, and Sergeant Jeremy Fairbanks. Chief?
Okay, I'm gonna take this off so I can actually talk and people can hear me. I'm gonna do the swearing in of Chris Montoya and Jeremy Fairbanks last. I'll do Travis Johnson, Chrissy Acevedo, Rosa Marquez, Lee Schmidt, and Greg Gonzalez at this time. If you all can line up on this side, please. I'll raise your right hand. State your name after I say this sentence. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California.
and to the Constitution of the State of California.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will faithfully and faithfully discharge
that I will and faithfully discharge
the duties of which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office.
Congratulations. I'd like to pin on their badges. If you can.
Yes.
I'll shake you again. Shake you again. Okay, you guys can have a seat. Thank you. These two gentlemen have been promoted to the position of sergeant within the department of the Coalinga Police Department. Their hard work and dedication to this community and to this job and to this department has superseded everybody's ability, my ability, or my. I think you guys do a great job. I'm not going to try and make it short. Make it short and sweet. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jeremy Sperry,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and faithfully discharge
and that I will and faithfully discharge
the duties of which I'm about to enter.
the duties of which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Sure.
Thank you.
You guys like to say anything?
I'll say something real quick. Just to get my family here, again,
Oh, yeah.
like we all say, when we take this job, it's something where we leave our family behind and we gain up with another family to create the environment that we live in. Everybody that's here that supports us, we can't do it without them. Our family is number one. With this promotion, I'm gonna do the best I can to promote a positive environment and to get the mask back and all that, and to keep things going forward. So thank you guys.
Thank you. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break so everybody can congratulate everybody. So it'll be great. So we're going to take a 10-minute break right now. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting back to order. Okay, we'll go to item number 4, fireworks presentation by Pyro Spectacular. Jennifer?
Yes, I'm on the Zoom call. Is that okay to introduce the video I'm going to have shown?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So what I've presented basically is a video that's a promotional video that we use as an example of the variety of different fireworks shows that we've done in the past. Just wanted to introduce my company as a company that has worked with the city of Coalinga in the past, and we're excited to be able to return to this partnership. But what we're doing is we're doing a show. We've got 2 presentations available for council to look at. We have the July 3rd, or actually I've given an opportunity for that to go to either the previous week or even the Friday before the 3rd. So that 3rd of July presentation can be done at a date whichever works best for you. And then the 4th of July does take a little bit extra money. It is a premium date. So we do add a little extra. I've added a little extra as the bang on that finale as well. So when you get a chance to take a look at the proposal, you'll see what's included in the production. But if you don't mind, I'd love to have you take a look at that video.
Okay.
So thank you very much for letting me show that video. It's awfully difficult to get the full scope of what the energy of a fireworks show looks like, but hopefully you can see we're very excited to be able to do a show that will wow your crowd and really bring the excitement and enthusiasm to the 4th of July. We've missed it after last year. And so I'm really looking forward to an opportunity to bring that to your community this year.
Well, thank you very much. We've all missed the 4th of July for many years. I mean, we've had that, I remember for 60 years myself and past that. So
Wow.
hopefully we can go with it again.
Well, thank you again very much for the opportunity to present that to you. As part of your agenda, you'll have those contracts to choose from as well. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions, council? Is there any questions? Anybody from the audience here?
I mean, do we have a price already?
Do we have a what?
A price or just?
Yeah, we have some prices in our, when down later in the session, there's some prices in there too.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for showing that to us, and hopefully we'll look it over and see what everybody has to say about it.
Okay, just wanted to let you know that that contract actually is what we call our turnkey program, where you just give me the go ahead to do this and we'll set this program up for you. We have our licensed operator. We handle all the transportation, all the paperwork to your fire department. We really take all of the difficulty out of it and we handle it ourselves. We take care of everything that you can think of, and I'm always available to answer any questions after this meeting if some come up.
Okay, just one thing. In the past, our fire department's always been on, well, they're always on call that day anyway, but do they have to do anything special for you guys?
It's up to you and the site that's chosen. A lot of times it's suggested that fire department have a truck on standby if necessary, just if there happens to be something that comes up. But as a rule, we've chosen safe site selection. So fire department only has the opportunity to watch it closer than an audience, but otherwise they usually are not needed.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be up to our chief. We'll let him make that decision. Okay, well, thank you very much for your demonstration.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for your time. Appreciate being included on the agenda.
Well, thank you again. Any other questions, council? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to item number 3, citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for a follow-up and a report. Shannon, do we have anybody?
I do have some comments that we've received, but I believe they are for the public hearing. And I also do see Shelley Ross has her hand raised, but I believe she also wants to speak during the public hearing, but I'm going to unmute her and ask.
Okay.
Ms. Ross, the comments that you wanted to make, were those for the public hearing?
Shelley, are you there?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Shelley, do you want to speak on the citizens' comments, or do you want to wait till the public hearing?
Whichever one is better. I don't know how to do this. So it's about the amendment to the cannabis businesses. So
That would
it be
probably
better?
be public hearing then.
Okay, I'll wait then.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Shelley.
you.
We just want to make sure you, in case you wanted to say something else.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Oh, I do have one thing.
Go ahead.
I have brought this up before, not in the council meeting, but through email. The intersection of El Rancho and 198, it's very difficult when you turn into El Rancho to see where the median is. And I would recommend putting like a reflector light or something so that people know what side of the median they're turning into. That was all I have to say.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That's been on my mind.
Shannon, is there anybody else?
Yes, it looks like Nathan Bosberg wants to speak.
Okay. Nathan, go ahead.
Council, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to speak first on the item of the citywide fireworks show. I remember when we got rid of that show, it was disheartening, and I believe that the city is in a good financial position at the moment, and I hope you guys choose to bring that back. I think that's going to be a good thing. I know that, you know, there's lots of things that need to spend money on, but things that make the public feel good always should probably go hand in hand. And then I wanted to talk about item number 4, the discussion direction 6.4 regarding rank-based elections. I think pretty much that, you know, if there's another way, since our town's so small, that we can do things rather than districts. You know, none of us wanted to do districts. That wasn't a thing where we wanted to do that. We were kind of forced into it. So I would just say, listen to that, you know, presentation or whoever's going to talk about it. I think the city attorney, and maybe see if that's an option to go with. I know other cities have done that. And then last, I wanted to discuss the item on number 5 with 6.5 regarding council reorganization of Mayor Pro Tem. The last meeting or two ago, it was told when there was going to be a discussion of litigation, and there was an item on the agenda, and I believe Mr. Horn said that he was new and that he was just trying to learn about it. And so I did a CPRA request to kind of find out what was going on with that. And one of the things that I found out was in the text message, it actually said from Mr. Horn, quick question, does the council have the ability to censure on this item? So I think that kind of set a precedence right off the bat, having to do with the Mr. Cody's complaint. And I do believe that this was motivated. And if it wasn't, then it was just having a lack of experience. And so I would say, and I had said this to begin with, that you guys really need to have someone with experience in the mayor pro tem position, because that position is the one that runs the meeting. If the mayor isn't there, that's also the mayor's right-hand man. And so I would like to see either Mr. Singleton or Mr. Atkinson take over that position, as I believe that they have more experience in that position. And that's all I have to say. I want to add, though, that I do like Mr. Horn. I have definitely known him for a long time. He's a very nice person. He's nice to everyone around him. And this should not be looked at something personal against him. I just think that the experience should trump everything. And that's all I have to say. And I'll talk again on public hearing. But I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Council.
Okay, thank you. Shannon, is there anybody else?
It looks like that's it for now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. The next item will go to public hearing. Approval of city-initiated zoning text number ZTA 21-01, amending the commercial cannabis regulations related to reducing the distance requirement between schools and non-retail commercial cannabis facilities by introducing and waiving the first reading of ordinance number 846. Schumberger.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, excuse me. Tonight, staff's recommending City Council approval of a city-initiated text amendment, ZTA 2101, amending the commercial cannabis regulations related to distance requirements between non-retail cannabis operations and schools, and then also introduce and waive that first reading of Ordinance 846. So on January 7th, 2021, the City Council voted to initiate a zoning text amendment to reduce the distance requirement from 1,800 feet to 930 feet from a school as prescribed by state law and future school site as identified in the general plan. The council's intent to reduce the distance was in an effort to increase the number of available properties within the city's manufacturing business light zoned parcels that could be eligible for non-retail commercial cannabis development. Currently, Section 9-5-128 of the Coalinga Planning and Zoning Code states that cannabis operations, except for storefront retail, shall comply with the distance separation requirements from schools as required by state law. Currently, a non-retail commercial cannabis operation zoned in the MPL zone designation should not be located within 1,800 feet from any existing school or proposed school site as identified in the general plan. California state regulations state that the proposed non-retail cannabis premise shall not be within 600 feet radius of the perimeter of a school providing instruction in kindergarten or any grades 1 through 12 unless other distances established by the local jurisdiction. On February 23rd, 2021, the Coalinga Planning Commission conducted a notice public hearing and adopted Resolution 021P-002 recommending to the City Council approval of Ordinance number 846. The proposed zoning text amendment will do the following. Amend Section 9-5.128D12, reducing the distance from schools from 1,800 to 930 feet. Staff has provided a copy of the ordinance and attached it for council's review and consideration. In terms of general plan zoning consistency, the proposed zoning text amendment is consistent with the general plan policies and implementation measures, including zoning consistency for commercial cannabis operations. The intent of the Coalinga commercial cannabis regulations was to implement state laws that relates to regulating commercial cannabis and cannabis products. The proposed changes in regulations to reduce the distance from schools would not be contrary to state law, and in fact will still be more stringent than state law. The ordinance amendment will reduce the distance cannabis facilities may be from schools as identified in state law within the manufacturing and business light zoning designation. By reducing the distance requirement, it will open additional properties in town to accommodate non-retail cannabis operators, such as manufacturers, cultivators, distributors, testing labs, and micro businesses. With this change, it will open additional property on Elm Avenue, south of Pacific Street, where parcels are zoned MBL, including a parcel on the corner of Thompson and Polk Street. All applications for cannabis operations at these new available locations will still be subject to the city's entitlement process and regulatory permitting process prior to authorized operational authority, including the issuance of a conditional use permit in order to analyze noise, odor, and traffic to ensure consistency with the planning and zoning regulations. This is especially critical since several of the properties in question are adjacent to residential zoning districts where certain transitional standards will need to be applied to ensure the protection of the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding properties. In terms of public notification, on March 8th, 2021, public hearing notices were mailed, posted, and emailed to the local newspaper in accordance with local and state regulations. The text amendment has been reviewed in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and staff has determined that this ordinance change would not have a detrimental effect on the health, safety, and welfare of the community and fall under Section 15601B3 for the general rule exception. In addition, sequel will further be reviewed during the permitting process as a conditional use permit will be required for any new cannabis operations. So in terms of the following, the standard findings must be made in terms of a zoning ordinance is the proposed zoning ordinance amendment will not be detrimental to the public interest, health, safety, convenience, and welfare of the city. The proposed zoning ordinance amendment is consistent and compatible with the goals, policies, and actions of the general plan and other applicable provisions of the zoning ordinance. If applicable, the site is physically suitable, including but not limited to access, provisions of utilities, compatibility with adjoining land uses, and absence of physical constraints for the requested zoning designation and anticipated land use developments. And lastly, the proposed zoning ordinance amendment has been processed in accordance with the applicable provisions of the California Government Code and the California Environmental Quality Act. And one thing on the staff report that you guys may have noticed, I moved my staff report from Planning Commission to Council. So that was not the fiscal impact portion of the agenda. So those were the findings, which is on the Planning Commission agendas. Their items are differently. So, but in terms of the fiscal impacts, it just basically increases the probability of tax revenue and licensing application fees for the city in terms of the fiscal impact to this change. With that, entertain any questions that the council may have. The ordinance is very brief because literally it changes just the number, the distance number. So any questions? for
Council, do you have any questions?
I got a question. I thought we went from 1,800 to 1,000. Where did we get 930?
So the direction from the council was to make Pacific Street the breaking the boundary. And so 930 feet was what staff established as the Pacific Street being that boundary.
So, but the initial vote that we did was on 1,000, wasn't it?
I think it was, from what I understand, it was based on using Pacific Street as the boundary.
Because what we had here was you showed distances between 1,000 and 600 feet, and we started at 1,800, right?
The 1,800 was originally,
was the original, and then you said we would go from 1,800 to 1,000, but we wouldn't go past 600 because that's within the county, right? No, close to 600. But I don't remember seeing the 930 on there.
Yeah, that was because the way the street was, they went, I guess they went out and measured it or something, and it came down to 930.
Yeah, so from what staff recalls, and it was the direction from the council was to use Pacific Street as the boundary, because I think
we wanted to use that street, so they said it was a little bit less than 1,000 feet. So
we done that before we determined it was going to be 1,000 feet.
Yes.
So should we just hindsight? Shouldn't you measure before you have the people thinking it's 1,000, and then you?
Well, we did. We talked about it at that last meeting, and we said it was going to be about 930 feet because he said it was going to be less than 1,000.
Well, the examples that
we all agreed at that time to do that.
Yeah, not all.
Well,
Actually,
4 to 1.
Okay.
Actually, it was
majority
it was either 975 or 973 is what the measurement was actually discussed.
975.
Yeah, it was 975 or 973. It was
And now
somewhere
we're going
roughly
to-
that.
So now we're going to 930.
I believe the motion was
actual
for
number, yeah.
Pacific. The motion that was made was to make it up to Pacific.
the examples that staff gave were 600, 1,000, and the current 1,800. But from what the direction the staff received from the motion, from what we recall, was to make Pacific the boundary.
Because I mean, once again, it's like we start here but end up here. That's just my thing. I mean, people were, I'm not gonna say okay with 1,000 feet. I mean, I'm not saying they're okay. They have their concerns. And then now you take away the 1,000, now we're looking at 930. I mean, it's just, we're going the wrong way. We're bringing it in instead of bringing it out, or at least leave it where it was at. I mean, yeah, you want Coalinga to be a bigger city. I get that. So start on the outside. You don't have to start here. You know what I mean? We can expand out. I mean, the businesses don't have to be right there to be an effective business.
So when I originally brought this forward, my goal was to get it to Pacific Street. I'm trying to go to the past meetings, but I remember when we made the motion, we said we wanted it to go to Pacific Street. We wanted to cut off where Blue Valley Automotive is, and that's exactly where 930 feet is right there. So we're not adding more buildings. We're 930 feet is still within the parameters that we were talking about of, Pacific Street, and the Blue Valley Automotive would be the last building in that zone. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe when I made the motion, it was up to Pacific Street.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, this is a public hearing. With that, we go ahead and open the public hearing. Shannon, do you have anybody that would like to talk, please?
Yes, we have a few, but I wanted to make a comment about some paperwork that we had received. The city did receive what appears to be petition sheets. Some of the pages have printed names and some contain signatures. These pages hold no legal weight and are just considered communications. These communications were originally submitted as public comment during the February 23rd, 2021 Planning Commission meeting. They are now being resubmitted as public comment during tonight's meeting. And I do have two people who have their hands raised. I'll start with Ms. Dow.
Thank you. Before this board for consideration is to reduce the distance from the schools for commercial cannabis business activities from 1,800 feet to 930 feet. So the history of this is Proposition 64, which legalized cannabis, and it was overwhelmingly approved by the voters in 2016. Over time, this industry was projected to generate millions of tax dollars for local jurisdictions. In 2017, the state of California established a minimum distance of 600 feet from a school for commercial cannabis business activities. The state applied a methodology. It used the same methodology when it considers liquor stores had to be from schools. So California allowed every city in the state to take a position on whether to allow commercial cannabis. In 2018, the city of Coalinga, through the adopted ordinance, took a position and provided a comprehensive regulations for cannabis activities and the zoning district they could operate in. The city also expanded the state minimum distance from 600 to the current 1,800 feet. Cities nearby, inspired by Coalinga's example, have allowed limited operations with lower tax rates. In the city, from what my research indicated, the city actually lowered the cannabis tax rate to remain competitive in the market for cultivation and nurseries. This demonstrates that Coalinga was flexible and wanted to remain competitive. Now, as a result of the economic devastation caused by COVID-19 pandemics, and the current projection for job recoveries is 2025. So jobs aren't even going to recover until 2025. California is bracing for another severe economic downturn. Throughout the state, many cities are rethinking their cannabis regulations. Cities are looking at cannabis and the tax revenues they can generate in a whole new light. Although cannabis has failed to deliver on the projected sales tax revenues in some areas, there's still no other industry coming to Coalinga. So you talk about you want city to grow. There's no industries coming. We are either a government employment. All of your small businesses, including ours, are closed. We closed. So our property will now go blighted and will just be another blighted property in Coalinga. The city needs to be flexible to remain competitive, and the only industry that has proven that it can generate the revenue for the city of Coalinga. The city of Coalinga has provided a means for regulating the commercial cannabis industry in a manner which balances the needs to earn the revenue while promoting health and safety and welfare of the residents and the businesses within the city of Coalinga. No industry is as regulated and taxed as cannabis. Even liquor is not comparable. Reducing the distance from 1,800 feet to the state minimum 600 feet would allow for economic opportunity, not just in sales tax revenue, but also in the property tax generated through increase in property values. The proposed decrease of the distance for schools is 930 feet, is not based on any methodology or credible data. It was just a distance proposed for the benefit of a few properties that were blighted. So my recommendation is that this commission approve the reduction of the distance and would consider reducing it to the state minimum, which is based on a methodology, to 600 feet. And so you're not showing favoritism to any business or advantage to any business that would be eligible to provide a cannabis cultivation. So by postponing the inevitable, other cities will get the investors and the revenue that it will generate. And then Coalinga will again lose out on the sales tax and revenue. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Dow. Shannon, are there somebody else?
Yes, I have Miss Ross.
Shelley, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Obviously, my name is Shelley Ross, and I've been a citizen of Coalinga since 1986. And first of all, and first and foremost, I want to thank each of you for all of the time and effort that you put into running our city. I do appreciate you. I do come to you to voice our opinion on the agenda item to reduce the distance between cannabis businesses, commercial cannabis businesses, and the schools. I say our opinion because I'm including the 238 citizens who signed a petition against this amendment. You each have a packet with those names. When we admitted these petitions to the Planning Commission meeting, I felt as if they were nonchalantly considered or addressed and probably not even looked at. These are names of citizens, real people who voted in the 2018 and 2020 elections. We got these signatures in 1 week. Think about how many more we could get to change the election results in the future. As in our national and statewide elections, we need to remind our representatives that they work for we the people. Just from these 238 signatures, 64 of them come from District 1, which is Mr. Adkison's district. 64 is 10% of the total votes in 2018 for Adams' district. District 2, which is James Horn's district, has 75 signatures, which is 11% of the total votes in 2020. District 3, Mr. Singleton's district, has 31, which is 5 to 6% in 2018. District 4, which is Manny Ramirez's district, has 26 signatures, which is almost 5% of the total. And finally, District 5, Ron Ramsey's district, had 40 signatures, which is almost 7% of the total votes. I'm bringing this up to you because it seems that 4 of the council members have their mind set on what they want to do. I feel like they have already made up their mind as to how they will vote, maybe because of pressure or personal interest or already made commitments. I don't know. But I can tell you that most voters that I know don't want any more cannabis businesses, let alone more that are closer to the schools. CHUSD, as well as West Hills College, are also against this amendment. Please listen to your constituents and vote this amendment down. We already have enough businesses, and if you want more to come, and if more want to come, they can go by the ordinances that are already in place. Stay away and stop coming closer. It is not too late to change your mind. It's never too late. Don't be like the politicians that live in California and our US government who don't seem to listen to the people. They keep making decisions based on power and money. I don't see the difference here in Coalinga recently. If your daughter was getting married soon and all the plans and preparations had been made, money spent and commitments made and venues set, would you make her get married if she decided that she didn't really love the guy? Would you tell her, oops, it's too late? No, I don't think you would. You would have her best interest at heart. Stop listening to what you want to happen and start listening to the citizens. Coalinga is not your personal business. This city belongs to the people. If you want your own business, you can do it on your own time and money. I'm really tired of not being listened to, as you can obviously tell. And so are a lot of other people I know. We do already have 8 businesses. That's enough, and we don't want them closer. So I will end here, but please think twice before you vote and listen. Be brave and don't just go with the flow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shelley. Shannon, is there anybody else?
Looks like Nathan Bosberg would like to speak.
Okay. Nathan, are you there?
Yeah, council, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I want to speak about the distance requirement item. I want to remind everyone back to 2016 when we had about 50-50 people in the council chambers, packed. It was full. And we heard the exact same thing. We heard there was 600 signatures, and we heard it would never pass. However, it did pass. It absolutely passed, because more than half the people believe in the cannabis industry. They believe it provides jobs. They believe it provides opportunity. They believe that it provides a medical aspect to this town that sets this town apart when we don't have any industries trying to come in. So first, I want to remind everyone that I personally believe that the majority of people in Coalinga support the cannabis industry being here, whether it's for jobs, tax revenue, or whatever the industry brings. Cannabis was voted on by the people and was passed by the people. I understand many people are morally opposed to cannabis, and that's okay. We're never going to change their opinion, and that we can agree to disagree. However, I think that an even larger majority of the population supports our public safety, which is where the money goes from this. Well, let me tell you, cannabis and Measure J fund our public safety. Without cannabis, we would be less safe than we are now, because we would not be able to afford the added positions and raises that the city followed through with. The idea that opening up this very small area would have a huge impact on the surrounding areas is, well, it's just more reefer madness. It's ridiculous. It's a proven fact, yes, a proven fact in Coalinga, that cannabis companies that come in increase property values to the areas around them. They also add security, improvements to the properties, much needed employment opportunities, and income in the form of taxes and fees for the city. And you don't know that you're missing it until you don't have it. Until you're sitting 4.1 million in the hole with $900,000 bleeding, you have no clue, right? And that can come just as quick as it's gone right now. The city has been this flush before and has went right back down in the toilet. So it was a few meetings ago when I heard someone state that these should be located on the edge of town. Well, these 6 buildings are on the far edge of town. They are absolutely on the far edge of town. They're right across the street from me. We're talking about the Napa building to the Elliott Construction building. I live adjacently to the area in question, and I can tell you, I'm way more worried about affordable housing that was permitted than I am about the cannabis companies. You want to look at crime? Let's snapshot right now, and then let's wait till that affordable housing comes in, and let's snapshot what cannabis has done. Cannabis hasn't had any crime increases. So these areas will not be used for retail. People will not be congregating outside. They will not be open to the public. And just like the businesses that are already here, they will be community partners and not the devil incarnate that some have made them out to be. I reject the idea that these businesses will increase access to children, as the general public will not be allowed inside. What they will do, though, is pay taxes. Those taxes will fund your police, fire, and city infrastructure. Currently, Hanford, Fresno, and Lemoore all have 600-foot distance requirements from schools. Coalinga at 930 is still 330 feet above that. Okay, we should go with the state. I agree with Ms. Dow. We should go to the 600 level. We shouldn't even think about it. We should do what the state is doing, because then there's no favoritism. So that's absolutely what that should be done. Take it to that level and do what the state mandate or what the state law says that they can do. And every candidate that ran in the last election was asked many times if they supported the industry being here. And I'm pretty sure that most of you said yes, because you understood the tax revenue and what it was being used for. Well, now it's the time. It's unfortunate. We have a city that is split on this issue, but please do what's good for the community. People are going to be moving here because of rising prices in LA, San Francisco, and other places. And without an opportunity for employment and increased tax revenue, the city could slide down that hill real fast. Just at the last meeting, you approved almost $85,000 in raises per year. In 10 years, that's $850,000 plus. If you add in the Medicare, Social Security, and all the rest of the stuff that goes in it, that's $1 million in 10 years. That's 1/10 of the Measure J money. And if Measure J doesn't pass again, what happens? How many people are you going to be laying off? Do you guys want to be the ones laying off police and fire? Let me tell you, it was the hardest thing anyone has ever done. And the mayor knows this. It's horrible. You don't want to do that. So please make a good decision. And remember that with each business, see, here's the thing. You approve this tonight. This isn't an end all for cannabis to come through. The CUPs have to be, each one of them, approved by council. You guys get to choose and approve those CUPs. So just because you open this up doesn't mean cannabis companies are going to flood in. You still get to pick and choose the ones that you want to come. So by acting tonight, what you're doing is providing an opportunity so that businesses could come in. This was the deal that was set a long time ago that we were going to grow and expand. And I know that 50% maybe of the population doesn't agree with that, but we all agree on police and fire. And we all agree that we need public safety. And so thank you guys very much for listening to me, and please vote in favor of this.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Shannon, is there anybody else?
Yes, we have one more person. Robin?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Robin Galaxy? Okay, yes.
Hi, Council. I just wanted to point out that with Mrs. Ross's percentage numbers that she presented of the people who signed in each district that were opposed to the commercial cannabis coming in to the 930-foot point, is that there's an opposite number. So if 7% of one district signed against it, that means there's 93% of that district that could have possibly signed but didn't, maybe because they agree with it or they support it. So you guys need to take that in consideration too. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Shannon, is there anybody else?
Yes, I have Nicholas Elliott.
Okay, Nicholas, can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening, Council.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Nicholas Elliott. My family and I have ties to Coalinga going back for over 40 years. My grandfather, my dad, and myself helped build many of the commercial properties located in town. I know for a fact that we built each building that we're speaking about tonight, on Elm Street down to Pacific. Our greatest feat was building the garlic plant, a source of several jobs for several years. We own 3 parcels in the area that we are discussing tonight on West Elm Street. I'm not sure if the council has driven by our properties in the last several years, but if you have, you notice that our buildings look dilapidated and are an eyesore for the city. The rent collected at our locations often doesn't cover the property tax and surely doesn't allow for any improvements or beautification. There is no income created for the city at our locations besides the property tax. For years, our locations were empty. I would like you to know that we fully support reducing the distance requirement. By bringing in these additional properties, you will be opening the door for businesses that are ready to come to Coalinga and start generating much needed jobs and tax dollars. I have spoken to individuals that are interested in our location and have begun the planning stages. Some of these funds will go towards the police department, which will in turn create a safer community for all of the residents, including the children and the schools that we're talking about tonight. It's been proven that these locations are safe, major employers, and profitable for the city. The Planning Commission voted 4-1 in favor of continuing the growth of Coalinga. This is another huge opportunity for the town. Council, will you please consider all of the benefits to this distance reduction and pass this tonight? Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Nicholas. Shannon, do you have any more?
That's all I have for now, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Sean has some more too, I think.
Yeah, I received one in email and I forgot to give it to Shannon, but I'll go ahead and read it now. And
Okay.
It just says, Dear Assistant City Management Committee, according to your letter, March 8, 2021, regarding the zoning of cannabis facilities, as a resident citizen of the United States of America at 715 East Valley, Coalinga, the above hearing doesn't interest me, nor will improve any city in America. Besides, it won't consider a service to community residents in Coalinga. Improving city zoning won't benefit by such a discussion. As a result, count me out in such business proposal. Plus, won't prescribe cannabis use in any zone and in the 2016 voting ballot in Fresno County, City of Fresno voted no to legalizing cannabis. Sincerely, Cameron Lashgari. That's all.
That's all you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, would anybody like to say anything else? It's still, the public hearing is still open. Do you have any hands being raised, Shannon?
No, no, Mayor.
Council, do you have anything? Okay. Okay, now we're going to close the public hearing. Thank you. Thanks for everybody's input too. Okay, Council?
This is something I brought forward. I do have a video I'd like to play. Can you go ahead and play that?
in your county for Proposition 64 being passed, and you're concerned that more shops in Fresno.
Could you turn it up a little bit more, please?
Well, our counties, they're, right next to each other. And much of the crime and issues that Margaret faces in Fresno County is what we face here in Tulare County. The criminal element, as far as drug trafficking organizations, they go up and down the Central Valley. And so we're very much connected. And I appreciate, Margaret, we stay well informed and connected to each other. We share information with each other quite frequently. And so I'm thankful for that. But when it comes to any sort of elevated levels of crime based on what we've seen here in Tulare County, we have 7 different dispensaries here locally. And then we know that many of our residents would find themselves in Fresno, depending on, how many dispensaries there would be. Because as Margaret mentioned earlier, product and demand, you find a better product somewhere, that's where you're going to go. But as far as what type of crime or elevated levels of crime that we've seen here, shockingly for me as the sheriff, we haven't seen that. But back to your original point, what impacts negatively have we seen? Quite frankly, we haven't seen really any major negative levels.
Now in the process, well, as of December the 4th, 2020 at 4:01 p.m., the city of Fresno stopped taking regular applications for commercial cannabis business permits. The city is now in phase 2 of reviewing written applications it's received. Eventually, each city council district will be awarded 2 permits, allowing 2 shops in each council district for a total of 14 stores citywide. The city of Fresno now has an Office of Cannabis Oversight. Jennifer Ruiz is the special project manager, and she says an application must score at least 80% on the written application to advance to the verbal or oral interviews. The city manager's office and the city council will ultimately decide which businesses get a permit. That part of the process alone could take another 2 months to fully vet all the potential frontrunners. So in theory, it could be late this summer or perhaps even early this fall before the first shop opens in the city of Fresno. Each shop could potentially generate anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a year in taxes and fees for the city of Fresno. The shops will be able to sell up to 1 ounce of marijuana plus up to 8 grams of concentrated marijuana to people over the age of 21. The shops can't be closer than 800 feet from schools, youth centers, and daycare facilities.
Be able to smell and kind of get closer.
The city is closely studying every aspect of the permit process, from the potential locations to the long-term business plans and even the backgrounds of the business owners. Both of you, I'll start with you, Sheriff Boudreau. When Prop 60 money going to sheriff's departments, police departments, municipalities for enforcement, are you seeing any of that money, Sheriff Boudreau?
No, but I will, interesting because we do have some smaller cities here. I know I talked to Margaret about this as well. And I find it interesting, and I really don't have the answer, but some of the smaller cities are seeing some of the revenue positives from that and helping out local public safety.
Real quick. dispensaries, Scott. They're talking about taking over abandoned buildings, an old Bank of America building, and refurbishing them. What does that do for the footprint of downtown Fresno if some of these abandoned buildings get repurposed?
Well, certainly the amount of investment that's being contemplated is positive for the neighborhoods. I think in the Tower District, I myself live in the Tower District, and I am not hearing really anybody speaking negatively about it. There are some buildings, that Bank of America building in particular, that's been vacant for quite a long time, and having a tenant in there that's spending a fair amount of money refurbishing the place, and they'll have security and it'll be well lit. I think the sentiment in the neighborhood is that it's generally a positive thing.
Fresno gets ready to open recreational marijuana shops. We thought that we'd check in with two Valley cities that have already opened shops.
The cities of Woodlake and Farmersville already have shops open for business. Joining us now with some insights is Mayor Rudy Mendoza, the mayor of Woodlake, and Greg Gomez, the mayor of Farmersville. Thanks so much for joining us.
Mayor Mendoza, let's start off with you. How many dispensaries does your city have, and how's it going? Any problems or issues?
We're doing very well. We actually have a total of 7 businesses in town, 2 dispensaries, 2 cultivators. We have 2 distributors and 1 manufacturer. And our first business actually opened up April of 2018. And a few others have come in right behind that. But since 2018, we've had those businesses in Woodlake, and we're doing very well.
And Mayor Gomez, same question for you. How many dispensaries does Farmersville have, and how are things going?
Sure. So starting fall of 2019, we opened up 2 dispensaries. We had issued 3 licenses. We have 2 operating right now, and we have a 3rd one on the way. They're still in the design and the build process, so it's going to take a while. Everything's gone really well. We haven't had any issues in the community at all. They've been excellent community partners, helping us with everything from food drives to community toy drives. They've just been really, really great city partners.
For both mayors, how much tax revenue has been generated for your city from these shops? And Mayor Mendoza, let's start with you.
We've actually generated $1.5 million since 2018. But it's important to note that we didn't really know what to expect in terms of the amount of revenue. And we actually have, seen, like I said, just a little over $1.5 million. So it's not too bad of a sum for a community of our size.
And Mayor Gomez, same question for you.
Yeah, it's roughly about $1.5 million. That's just marijuana business tax revenue. There's also the sales tax side of it, which was roughly another $250,000 of an increase that we've seen since we've had the 2 shops operating.
And what's the reaction been from other businesses and neighbors, Mayor Mendoza?
Well, in the beginning, I'm sure there was a lot of apprehension. We did hear from some folks in the community that were concerned about cannabis being in the community. But the reality of it is that, we always felt that if we were going to get into this business, we were going to do some thoughtful study. And we involved community members, other businesses, public safety, educators. And it took us about a year's worth of actually processing this before we got into the business. So, with regards to the amount of legwork that we did ahead of time, I think it's paid off the dividends because we've been able to put quite a bit of control and meet everybody's expectations in terms of public safety. And, we're very fortunate. We have not had any issues to date, and we continue to lay the groundwork for how a cannabis operation should operate in communities, specifically rural communities like ours.
And Mayor Gomez, we were talking with some potential dispensary owners in the city of Fresno, and the theme that I'm hearing from them is they want to be part of the community. Is that what you're picking up in your city as well?
We have. The concerns were because of the location that we chose by freeway. So it would be easy for the customers to get in and out of the city and through the dispensaries. So a lot of the apprehension that we got was from business owners in that area, how much of an impact would traffic be to them. But, in the time that we've had the 2 shops operating, businesses have been really happy with the amount of traffic that's come through. All the, they've noticed an increase in sales as well. So, it builds on what we've done with our dispensaries. And I think it's just been a win-win for everyone.
And as the mayor, are you concerned that one day Fresno might have more than 14 marijuana dispensaries?
I'm fairly confident that that number is going to grow beyond 14. We knew all along initially it was 7, 1 per council district. And then it became 14, and then now it's up to 21. But initially we'll have 14, and we anticipate that we'll start to see those operational in October of 2021. And I don't know if there'll be all 14 at that time, but
So basically, I wanted to show that to see what our competition is. You can see that all these other cities are doing it, and they're getting the revenue from it. They're getting the benefits of having these additional companies here. We're still, you look at the city of Fresno, they're 800 feet. You look at Hanford and Lemoore, they're 600 feet. We're still above and beyond where even our surrounding communities are at. And we have lots of things that we need to pay for here. We got, before the economy took a dump back in 2008, we had more officers than we do now. How are we going to hire those officers? We need money. But we're at about 18 officers now. I believe in 2008, we had 21. We're still way behind, 12, 13, 14 years later. We're way behind where we were back then. And we got to find ways to pay for these things. We look at the fire department. We're growing down. We're getting multi-story buildings, they're coming in the pipe right now. We have several. Well, we have a fire truck that's from 1985. How are we going to pay for a new fire truck if we don't have more businesses coming in? These are things that we need. We need the city to grow, and we need to be able to take care of the citizens and provide the protection that they need, because right now we're falling behind. So I encourage us to continue to move forward in this, to go with the 930 feet. Remember, Measure J is only going to be around for so long. We're going to have to find a way to make up that revenue when it goes away. And this is one of the ways that we can do it. So I'm in favor of moving it to 930 feet.
Anybody else have anything?
I talked to a lot of people as well, and I think in the beginning they had a picture that crime was going to come in. I myself thought, oh man, I hadn't at that moment sat down and kind of review everything what would we bring to the city or to the communities or whatever. And but as much as I started reading, I started understanding that all these other towns are getting more stuff because they do allow that. And the more I read and the more I met with people, and the more I see these companies, they're not lazy on their structure. They have a structure very professional, and they don't let it go. It's not more like a brewing company coming in or nothing like that. So it would be the same thing. And like Mr. Atkinson said, it has brought up a lot of safety. And that's one thing that the community was concerned about, the safety. Not only that when Measure J goes, it's gone, where are we going to pull that money out? And with these companies coming in, they come in at like I said, at a structure professionally, and they have their plans, they have their structure, how it's supposed to be. And it's clear. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people, and they also agree with it, and they're liking it. And these are people that also had a doubt in the beginning. And it has opened up my eyes, and I read and I sat down and I looked at it, and I looked at it twice, and I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion or for or against it.
I'll make the motion to make it 930.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilman Atkinson and seconded by Councilman, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Manning. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Singleton,
Hope this doesn't shock you. Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. Thank you. Thanks for everybody. And thanks for everybody that was involved in this. And we do look at these petitions. I think this will go with the public hearing, won't it? Will this go with the public hearing? You guys?
Does that go part of the record?
Yes. It'll go, we'll make sure it's in there. So thanks for everybody that was involved. Okay, next we'll go to consent calendar. We have 6. Number 1 is approval of the minutes of the March 4th, 2021 meeting. Number 2, overview of the city airport, information only. Number 3, city council support of Senator Edward J. Markley, MA, and Congressman Steve Coalinga of Tennessee, reinduction of the Complete Street Act of 2019, a bill that promotes safer and more accessible street design across the United States, and further directs the assistant city manager to submit a message to congressional leaders urging them to co-sponsor the act. Number 4, authorize assistant city manager to execute consulting engineer contracts with MKN and Blackwater. Number 5, authorize purchase of new patrol cars with COP grants. Number 7, Public Works, Utilities, Community Development Monthly Report for February 2021. Item number 6 was authorization to purchase the cell-based radios for the police department, and that was pulled. We'll do that at another time. Anybody like to pull anything?
Number 5.
Number 5? Any more? Number 2? Okay, and just because it has Blackwater in there, I want to do number 4. Okay. Number 2, Manny?
I'm sorry. Overview of the city airport. What was that?
Okay. There was a lot of stuff that was broken and not fixed. And we're in the process of getting everything fixed and worked on. It was like the strobe light that goes out there. It's not working right now. They're in the process of fixing it. Some of the landing lights are messed up. They're broken. And we've basically looked at the whole airport, and we're trying to clean it up and make it look a lot nicer. And we're trying to get everything fixed. And we've had a lot of little things that haven't been taken care of. And so we're getting them all taken care of now.
No. Okay. Then, is there a list like besides this right here? Like,
yeah, you should have gotten a list.
Okay.
On there too. So you can download that one list. So
it's listed there under the discussion portion.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see.
Do we sell
Thank you.
fuel at the airport?
Pardon me?
Do we sell fuel at the airport?
Right now, our fuel system is down. It's broken, and we're in the process of trying to get that fixed too. We used to have the cheapest fuel because we tried to keep it down so we could get people in here, and we found out that the thing got broken and it never got fixed. And so we're in the process of trying to get a grant to fix out. A lot of this stuff is being done by grants, and then like when the race cars are out there and stuff and they break something, they end up paying for it right away. So we do have a lot of the money for it, but then a lot of the other stuff we're going to go get grants for, and we're going to fix it back up and make it like it's supposed to be.
I'm guessing we don't sell jet fuel.
Pardon me?
Jet fuel? No.
No, Councilman Atkinson, this is Mercedes. No, we only have an above ground tank for avgas, so we currently don't have jet fuel.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Any other things on the airport? Okay, could you explain what number 4 is? I thought I'd surprise you on one thing. Here's the other mic if you want it.
That's okay. Mario's gonna be talking soon, so make sure he has a mic. This staff report and recommendation for the approval of engineering consulting services. This is as a result of the RFP that was issued for engineering services for all the bond projects, for the water projects. And so in staff reviewing the projects and reviewing the engineers who submitted, we interviewed both of the engineers that submitted proposals. And we felt that both of them brought unique experiences, expertise in certain areas based on the particular projects that we're looking to undertake. And so our staff's recommendation is to approve both a contract with MKN and Blackwater Engineering. MKN's based out of Fresno. They have multiple offices throughout the state of California, and Blackwater is based out of Modesto. Jeff will probably get mad at me if I didn't, if it's Merced or I'm pretty sure it's Modesto. And we felt that they brought some good expertise. They're a smaller shop. MKN's a little bit larger shop. So we're going to really work with them. MKN brings a lot of expertise when it comes to the tank and for the rehab. And so we're going to be working with them. And then we're going to work with Blackwater on a lot of the projects out of the plant itself. So we felt it was appropriate to look at both proposals. And we felt that they both brought some good benefit to these projects. So, and we'll have 2 people at our disposal to get their expertise and make sure we can move these projects along, because we do want to move these projects through quickly. So, but Blackwater is the name of the engineering firm,
Right.
and MKN Engineering, who we've worked with in the past as well. So these are on-call contracts based on task orders. So as we entertain projects, they'll provide task orders similar to what we do at the city engineer. Any other questions?
No, that's all I have on that. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Sean.
No problem.
Okay, we'll go to item number 5, authorization to purchase new patrol vehicles with COP grants. Any questions on that for the chief?
Can we kind of go over what cars need to be replaced and why they need to be replaced?
Sure.
Let's
The
just go one by
department
one
currently
for
was requesting to purchase 5 new patrol vehicles. We have a F-150 4x4 that's currently in the fleet that has seen better days.
What year is that?
It's a 2000, that one is a 2011. We have, it says 2014, but they're actually 2012 Caprices that continually have air conditioning and electrical issues. Every time we get them fixed, they go right back down on us. Those were built out of an Australian plant, and that plant is no longer in service anymore for those vehicles. And we have our Caprices are currently starting to have front end damage or front end problems with the A-arms and the rocker arms going out. So we're having to replace those.
What year are those 2?
Those are 2014, the Chargers.
The Caprices?
The Caprices are 2012. It says 2014 in the staff report, but they're actually 2012.
Okay. And have we had those the whole time?
Sorry?
Have we had those since 2012?
Yes.
Okay.
The K9 vehicle that currently houses Eli and Officer Ibarra is a 2013 Ford Interceptor SUV, which is having air conditioning issues, and the make of that vehicle is not conducive for a K9 because there's not enough airflow in the back of that vehicle for that animal. So we're recommending the purchase of a Dodge Durango, which will take place of this vehicle, which has adequate airflow for the dog. And with the summer months coming on, we need to have a reliable vehicle for this animal so nothing happens to him. And with the department growing slowly, we will need additional vehicles to help support the staff that's currently and coming in the future.
Basically, when we bring on extra personnel, if we do, we're going to need extra cars for them to
Correct.
drive. I can go to the 1920s, walk the beat. Okay, and you're gonna go from a Ford F-150 to a Dodge Ram, is that correct?
Correct. We're gonna go, all vehicles that we are requesting to purchase are all pursuit rated. The Ford F-150 we currently have is not pursuit rated. That was a purchase that a former predecessor of mine made for us. So I'm electing to go to all pursuit model vehicles. So that way, if in case we do get in a pursuit, the vehicles are sturdy enough and can withstand the torture of a pursuit if need be.
Okay, and the total cost is $265,000. And we are gonna be paying this out of COPS grants.
Correct. The cost for all 5 vehicles plus the upfit of all vehicles, that's all the lighting, emergency equipment, decals, all that stuff comes to a total of $265,793.05. Over the 5-year term, the annual lease payments will be $58,720.08, with at the end of the final year of $1 per vehicle. And I currently have $211,000 in my COPS grant to help fund this project.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Chief, is there like an estimate of how much spending money is it to repair all these vehicles that have been breaking down?
I don't have that right now, but I can get it for you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
The 2 Chevys, those, to me, just looking from the outside, they seem smaller than, say, a Dodge Charger. Is that true? I mean,
The Caprices, when we built the Caprices out, they were made for a smaller person. They were made
look
for
like
the
if you're
person that-
5'5", you'd have no problem, but
Right.
anyway,
If you're
above
6'1", you're gonna
yeah.
be eating your kneecaps.
Very good.
Is there anybody else that would like to pull anything? Shannon, do you have anybody that's raising their hand?
No, Mayor, I don't.
Okay. Do we have a motion from someone?
Good.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, there's a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, the motion was made by Manny and seconded by Horn. Roll call, please.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Singleton,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to item number 6, ordinance presentation, discussion of potential action items. Number 1, discussion, direction, and potential action regarding site log IQ energy management system. Marissa?
Thank you. So this item on the agenda was requested as a future agenda item by Councilman Atkinson. It is something that myself and your financial services director do recommend. And we have Desiree on the line. You can see her pretty smile there on the screen. She's logged in and she's ready to give a presentation on the energy management system with SiteLogic.
Okay, Desiree, are you there?
Yes, I am. First and foremost, I would like to thank you, Mayor and Council, for hearing us out today. I grew up in Coalinga, so it's actually pretty cool for me to come full circle and make a proposal to the council tonight. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for this presentation. It looks like it's actually disabled to share screen. Can I get that open? If not, I can just speak to it.
Shannon, can you grant her access to share her screen?
Go ahead, Desiree.
Alrighty, thank you so much. So a little bit that I want to talk about today is who we are as a company, why energy management is important, our process, and how it's been useful to cities that we've worked with in the past. I performed last year usage and analysis of the city's expenditures and our proposed program, and I would like to answer any questions or comments that the council may have as well. So who we are is SiteLogic. We've been in the energy field for over 30 years, helping sectors from local, state, and government to K-12. We currently work with over 3,000 different firms on providing energy efficiency projects, monitoring, and infrastructure upgrades as well. The reason why energy management is important is because energy is an ever-evolving industry right now, and it's expensive. As we progress with technology, we just put a bigger load on our cities and infrastructures with energy. And there have been studies that have shown that with capital energy efficiency projects that have been done within the first year, some of them can lose up to 50% of energy savings due to a lack of control and analysis. I've always been an advocate of you can't measure what you don't monitor. And there has been research and studies that have actually backed that up, that if firms have a energy management program, they can actually achieve an additional 15 to 40% in savings. The way we can achieve those savings falls into different buckets. There's operational savings through retro commissioning, adjusting set points based on the needs of the city, and operations and scheduling. And there are also behavioral savings. We firmly believe in taking ownership and inspiring our clients to do so as well. So we work hand in hand with training staff to make sure that they know how to use the control systems, maintenance, and maintain them. And also we do detailed usage analysis constantly. It's really important for us always to be constantly involved with the communication between our clients and ourselves. So we do site backs and give the usage analysis, and we constantly give feedback as to what's going on. This here is just an example of a dashboard for one of our clients, the city of Santa Cruz. For instance, this client in particular, as soon as they signed up with us, we did an in-detailed rate analysis, and we found out they were on the wrong rate schedule, and we saved them an average of about $50,000 per month right off the bat, and it paid for the project and then some. You can see here that savings is reflected in this. This dashboard is something that is created with every energy management program that we do. So the city would have access to this, and it goes into detail on the savings. And we also would review it with city staff on any potential energy projects that we feel would benefit the city. I'm going to go in now to a little bit of the findings I found from the high-level analysis that I did late last year. This is your average monthly consumption based between the years of 2018 to 2020. As we all know, COVID-19 hit, but we see that here in orange, you're still utilizing quite a bit of energy. With utilization comes an additional cost. And we can see that, we all know Coalinga is hot in the summertime, so obviously energy usage is going to be high as well as cost. And we have decided that there is a potential savings through implementing this program. And in that, I've done kind of a estimated annual savings based on percentages, anywhere from 2% to 10%. On average, we save our clients anywhere from 5 to 45% based on the findings that we find and through the constant monitoring. Our EAQ program that I'm proposing for this city is going to include the energy dashboard. We'll have annual and quarterly and monthly meetings with staff. We'll constantly have someone monitoring and measuring the system. PG&E can be very tricky, as we all know. As of March 1st of this year, they raised their rates by 15% to cover some of the damage done by the fires and regain some of that revenue as well. So what we really want to do is kind of be your assistants in the back end, because as much as we like to think that all of your employees have all the time in the world to be able to go through every utility bill to see why it's increasing or how it's increasing, we want to be able to take that load and do that for you, provide the housing for the data, the reporting, And we also want to provide some on-site energy management where we would have our engineers come out and walk the site and make any recommendations based on their findings. And we'd also provide staff and staff training and support, so where we can, engage with your maintenance staff and make sure that, we know how to control the set points, can use the control systems wisely. If something needs to be maintained, how often, how, and we just want to be that extra resource for the city. The cost for this program is about $23,855 per year, and that's a 3-year term. It is a month, it's at the, after the term, the city can choose to renew or discontinue as they see fit. And now I'd like to answer any questions that any of you council members may have, or members of the meeting.
Council, you have any questions?
What are some things that you may tell us we need to improve upon? And if you say we need a certain something, what is that going to cost us?
So through these detailed analysis, right off the bat, I know that the city is going to be implementing some solar that will be offsetting some costs. We'll monitor that as well, serving as a second form of accountability between the provider that you're purchasing that with. When we do our recommendations based on programs or projects that we think might benefit the city, it's with full transparency. It could be anything from lighting to HVAC equipment, to a new control system, modified set points in buildings that aren't used as often, or whatever the need may be. What we really like to do is take a real in-depth approach to have that constant monitoring of the expenditures and how the city is utilizing the business. So the cost is something that, it depends on the project that the city wants to do. We implement projects as well, everything from lighting to control system to COVID mitigation. So we do all of that in-house, but it's up to the city's discretion on how they would like to pursue any energy projects going forward. What I'm proposing today is just allowing us to be that, that backup that the city will have in order to ask for accountability from the vendors that you already are working with.
And can you tell us some of the surrounding communities you guys may be involved with and how you've helped them?
We are currently working right now with the city of Dinuba on utilizing they're doing the energy management program as well. We're working with them to figure out, they're in the process of selling a building that shares solar production with another building that they are not planning on selling. So our engineers are working with them on how we can redistribute that energy and if it's possible, or how to renegotiate the sale price on that property because of the energy usage that they might get with that. Our program and our engineers really work for the city, anything energy wise. So if it might come up at a council that you have a question based on a certain technology, we will definitely address that and see if it's a right fit for the city as well. We also are proud members of the League of Cities. We work with school districts everywhere, closer to you, Reef Sunset. We've done all of their solar. We do monitoring for them. About 90% of the school districts in the Central Valley, I want to say, are clients of ours as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So that 23,855, basically you're going to save that for us through our cost savings. So we're going to be paying you with money we've saved, basically, isn't it? Is that right?
My hope is that it's more than that. Like I said, your employees don't have the time to be able to go through every rate schedule that the city is on. And if we can do that for you, and like I said, I grew up in Coalinga, and if I could put more money in the city's pocket, that's something that would be near and dear to my heart, not only professionally, but personally as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to save us a lot of money. So that's great. And with just that amount of money, sounds like a good price to me, as long as we're saving that much already too. So
especially with PG&E raising rates,
exactly
at the rate that they are raising rates. Can you kind of go over what, like just recently, I believe PG&E raised rates
March 1st,
8%
or something like that, or
15%. Yeah, they raised their rates, and they're redoing their rate structure. So Sometimes just going in and adding solar might not be as beneficial as you might think it is, because they might change the time of usage rates to be when you're not producing. So what we do is really provide the data. It's kind of like if you were to hurt your knee, you're not just going to dive into a knee surgery, right? You're going to want to go to get an MRI, physical therapist, see what it is you can do just before diving into a huge project or operation. And so that's really what we like to be.
So with the amount of money that this city spends in energy, which is enormous, especially with the water plant and the wastewater treatment plant, it'd be nice to have something like this who can tell us where we need to go to save money in those things. I believe we could make a lot of savings in those things probably. So I think, personally, I think we should move forward.
Now, if you do this, where will you look at first?
So we've already done a preliminary high-level analysis. First thing we would do is definitely get somebody out there to do a physical walk of all of the sites to see how they're being used, because what you see on paper may not relate to how it's actually used in practice. So we'd go in, do a physical audit, and then do a more in-depth data analysis. And then I would have that dashboard created, hopefully within 6 to 8 weeks based on my findings. And then we would move forward with the city recommendations. And the dashboard is also customizable. We separate them usually by building. So you can see which building from the police department to city hall is, what's their annual spend, how are they using it, and if there's ways that we can improve that.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? Do we have any questions from the audience, Shannon?
I see none, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much this is very informational. That's very good. Thank you. Council, what would you like to do?
I'll make a motion to move forward with this.
Okay, there's been a motion by Councilman Atkinson.
I'll second.
Okay, and a second by Councilman Singleton. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Atkinson?
Aye.
Councilman Singleton?
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn?
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey?
I also vote aye. And thank you very much and welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm excited to serve my town again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we'll go to discussion and direction regarding speed hump lump program. Sean?
Yes, Mayor and Council. This was a future agenda item requested by Councilman Atkinson regarding speed humps and lumps program. And basically, I'm going to give just a background on what they are, and then I've provided a lot of information. Councilman Atkinson had provided some criteria and some information regarding the City of Sacramento's program. But speed hump lumps are raised bumps placed across residential streets. They're designed to calm traffic in residential areas and near parks and schools. And Councilman Atkinson had requested this as a future agenda item in order to initiate discussion related to finding solutions for reducing speed in the neighborhood. So, Councilman?
Yeah, so I brought this forward because there are definitely streets in Coalinga where the speed is an issue. I'm sure every single one of us has been up here and heard cars racing down the streets and stuff like that. So it's a little pricey. It's $3,000. I'm not necessarily saying that council has to help fund this. I would love to see some kind of pilot program put forth, maybe in the next fiscal year, where they can do this. But I would also like to see the ability of these neighborhoods to move forward with this if they want to. If they want to privately fund it, it would be great if I believe the criteria is what 60% of the people in that street have to agree that they want speed bumps there before it could move forward. It's not just like, a couple of people get together and say we want a speed bump. No, the neighborhood, the 60% of the people on the street, maybe even be 66%. I have to look again. So there's people out there who want something to be done, and this is something we can help be done. Whether or not we want it to be city funded or whether or not we want it to be privately funded by the neighborhoods, that's up for us to decide, I guess. But at least I'd like to see at least have the people of these neighborhoods who are desperately wanting, whose kids go out there and play and they don't want their kids to be hit by cars, the ability to get together with the neighbors, come up with $3,000 and put up some speed bumps if that's what they want.
Okay. I would like to ask a question on liability, because a lot of people say that the city's liable for if a car goes over a speed bump and causes problems. Mario, do you have any expertise on that?
Well, just generally. So, the state has standards. The state has standards, and we will have our own standards on where those need to be placed. And that's the most important part, is following those standards, because you don't think about it a whole lot, but there's kind of a science to where you put things like crosswalks and these speed humps, and it's also really important, on in relationship to where drivers expect to see these things, and so part of that, like if you look in the criteria. Like this is from, I think this is from Sacramento. The two-lane street must be mainly residential or be close to a park or school. The residential street must be 750 feet long with no four-way intersections. Those are the types of things that are already in place that would help calm the traffic, and also for traffic flow. You want to keep those things. So as you design the program, it's just more important to design it effectively. It's not really a liability issue, because as long as we design it in accordance with the state and our own guidelines, it's not really a liability issue. If we start deviating from that, then that's when we face issues, that we design something poorly or out of standard.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on this? Is there any questions from our audience? Shannon, do you have anybody raising their hand on this?
I'm not seeing any.
Thank you.
I'll say one more thing. In the cities that have done this particular program, that became such a hit that each city has expanded this program, especially in Detroit. They had a huge expansion of this program when they started small, and the neighbors in the neighborhoods liked that the speeds were slowing down, so they increased it into a much bigger area throughout the city.
And Mayor, if I may add something, the city of Tulare is also going through the exact same process and use the exact same criteria from Sacramento. So it's just kind of a coincidence, but they're considering the same thing.
Okay, thank you. So tonight, what would you like tonight from the council? Just to say, go ahead and do it, and you're going to set up a program for us, and then bring it back, or what would you like to do?
Yeah, whatever the council would like to do. If you want to put together, we can start putting together a program. We may have some flexibility in the budget to budget some money, just maybe do it as a pilot this coming fiscal year. Yeah, we can, and then depending on what kind of criteria, I can work with Mario. We can look at what Sacramento is doing. It looks like Tulare is doing the same thing that Sacramento is doing, so we can do that. At least put maybe kind of a little summary together in terms of what the program would look like, and look at maybe implementing that sometime in the next fiscal year.
I think that's good. Something, a pilot program, I think, would be the best. Something that we can look at, something very small we can look at, can see if it helped improve. We can talk to the people, the residents in that street, and determine from them, is this something
then
that
we
worked
can
for
build
you?
up on the program.
Right. And then from there, we can decide if we want to make it bigger or if this is not worth anything.
And just to add something, I'm working with Larry, and Larry issued an RFP for a speed study, because the speed studies are critical. It's trying to, establish speeds in certain areas of town. It helps with enforcement for police, and it also helps with making sure we have certain posted speed limits throughout town. It doesn't necessarily completely dovetail to this, because it's not strictly residential, because you don't typically do street studies on every single street in town, because it gets extremely expensive. So we're looking at a lot of our collectors and arterials, mainly in terms of speed, but those streets lead into our residential neighborhoods. So that speed can even begin in those areas as they enter into the residential areas. So we'll be able to kind of see, we'll get a little bit more data from that as well as we start getting that. And we're also looking to work with Fresno COG on getting different devices that they have available potentially to other agencies, where we can actually start doing some of those studies ourselves and getting traffic counts. Because it looks like on these, we're going to have some more data when it comes to traffic volumes in terms of justifications for whether or not it's qualifying criteria for putting in a hump. So those are things that we're going to look at too. So we may bring that back as well, maybe some additional equipment that may be needed to ensure that we have the right data for maybe perhaps an application with a request. We go out and check that. So we'll come back with some more information and give you kind of a complete package.
Okay, do we need a motion or anything today?
Yeah, if the motion can be made, it sounds like, well, at least Councilman Atkinson, that you would like the staff to prepare a project and a project description, or a program and the program criteria and description. So that would be the motion.
Okay.
So I'll make that motion. So I got to say it. I make it the motion that Mario said.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion was made by Atkinson and seconded by Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Singleton,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. And I'm glad that this was brought up because came before the council many times and in the past, and we've always been told that it was a liability and it can't be done and you're going to cause a lot more problems for the city. But I think now is the time we're going to have to do this because of the speed and everything. And I'm glad we're finding a solution to it finally. So hopefully this will be a good program and we can build up on it. Thank you. Next, discussion, direction, and potential action items of city-funded fireworks show for the 4th of July. And that goes to Marissa.
Thank you. So this item was requested as a future agenda item by Councilman Atkinson. So there are two proposals from Pyro Spectacular. That's who you saw the presentation from earlier. One quote is for a fireworks display on Saturday, July 3rd for $21,000. And the other would be on Sunday, the 4th of July for $25,000. That July 3rd date is flexible. So it's my understanding from Jennifer that any non-4th of July date would be the $21,000 cost. So it doesn't necessarily need to be July 3rd. This would be a general fund expense that's not budgeted. It is open for council discussion. I will say that the quote that she provided is very much in line with other firework quotes that I saw. Even though we haven't had a fireworks show in several years, we did get quotes when council was looking at them before and when some private citizens were interested in it. And what we found is on non-4th of July days, you're going to pay between about $750 and $850 a minute. And on 4th of July days, on the 4th of July, it's about $1,000 a minute. So the quotes are reasonable, but it's open for discussion. What I would ask is if there's one thing that you want to do, not to approve the item as it is, because there's other logistical things that we would have to do. We have to find a location. If it's going to be in the high school football stadium, we have to get the school to agree. We have to provide liability insurance and all of that. So it's open for you to discuss, but what my recommendation would be is to choose which one you like best, if that's what you want to do, and then direct staff to work on the logistics, and then we can finalize it at the time we get that all worked out.
Okay, council?
Does Jennifer have anything to say? She get it all out of the way. Look, we've been through a tough year. All the citizens have, and they're looking to get back to some sort of normalcy. And this is something that we haven't had since, I believe, 2012. Do you remember 2012? Somewhere around that area. People ask us.
The last show that Pyro Spectaculars provided for your community was 2014. And I will say that I've done my absolute best to keep the price to very close to that price as well. I'd really like to see it happen again in your community.
Okay. And we're seeing about a $4,000 difference between July 3rd and July 4th. We've always done it on July 4th. I know the citizens really want this to come back. I think we've all heard it at some point in time since we've been up here. Let's talk about, $25,000. That's a lot of money, but we are I can find, let's say I can pay half of it, I believe, from using the money that we saved from the benefits for council. Tanya and Ron were both getting benefits, and that, what did we save? About 12,000 from that?
Give or take, yes.
About 12,000. So that's half of it right there. We are in a great financial position, probably the best financial position that the city's ever been in, at least quite some time, to come up with another 12 to 13,000 for the people. The people are always asking us, well, where's the cannabis money? You know, where's the Measure J money? Well, this is one way that we can show them that they do have the money. It's their money. This is something that they want. So I think, well, I put it on here because I think we should move forward with it.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I think what Marissa said, it's actually a great idea. Look at it a little bit more. I'm all for it to have a 4th of July. It'll be nice if we could have it on the 3rd. A lot of cities have it not on the 4th of July, due to that they want the families to, it's a great show and everything. But I know a lot of communities, they do their shows during the week. I think it'll be a great idea. We could do it, not the 4th of July, or even if we could be open, like, for people to donate monies too, if they want to, just to leave it open, if they wanted to. But I think it would be a great idea to go forward with this. But
Let me,
yeah, look at it a
let me
little
ask
bit.
this. Jennifer, can you hear me?
I sure can. Yes, thank you.
You guys do Avenal too, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What day are they doing it? Have they already signed a contract with you guys?
No, not the city quite yet. They're still waiting to see really state regulations, but they're considering, I'll have to look back in my book, but it is not on the 4th.
It's
They will
usually,
typically do it either on the Friday or Saturday.
They usually don't do it on July 4th, right?
no, they always do it
No,
weekend in
Last week
June.
in June. So
it's the Saturday prior to the 4th of July. So they're either doing it on the 3rd, and I apologize, it's either on the 3rd or like the 27th. They like to keep it completely off of that weekend so that their families can either go to other communities and celebrate or stay with their own family.
okay. July 3rd, July 4th, whatever the council wants to decide, I'm fine with. I think, I would imagine that we would get more people to come into the community from outside the community if we did it on July 4th, because most of our surrounding cities, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, do their fireworks show not on July 4th. So if we did have some kind of fireworks show on July 4th, I think we could bring people from outside the community in and hopefully get some revenue from that. We know where they spend gas or food or whatever it is they get. But either July 3rd.
Yeah, I think we could bring in vendors too. And,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know, with
I'd
this-
love to see us work with the
a
chamber.
lot of nonprofits come in and do stuff with us, partner with us. And
Yeah. That's why I was like suggesting, because I know everybody's gone to fireworks
And the
shows.
chamber.
Yeah.
Maybe if they could come and help us too. Because I know we've had stuff in the past, and we need a lot of music too. So we're gonna have to do something with the music too. So
Yeah, that's why it's like, I was looking at the 3rd before, because I've gone to a lot of them, and that's where, they get their most money, and that's a good idea that people will come in, and then we can have the chance of whatever organizations are selling their fireworks, and have the chance for not somebody to go just on 4th of July and be like, okay, we got a free show and we're not gonna buy fireworks. So I think doing it, not on the 4th of July would be kind of a good idea for everybody, not only the vendors, their organizations, they're selling fireworks, but for the community and everything. So everybody kind of wins.
so do it on the 4th.
No, on the 3rd.
Because if we do it on the 3rd, that's going to give 2 days of fireworks basically, because it would give everybody a chance to do it at home too. And a lot of people, like last year, we had a great show. I mean, all over town. But whatever the council goes for. I mean,
So the 3rd is a Saturday and the 4th is a Sunday.
we would be saving some money doing it on the 3rd, and then people could do it at their house on the 4th. And then we could go from there and make it a weekend of it and really put flags around town, everything. We could make this a good celebration if we really wanted to. Make it a whole weekend. So I would like to go do it on the 3rd myself. At first I was going to go for the 4th, but seeing it like this and making it a whole weekend, maybe we could get other people doing some other stuff too.
Yeah. There's a lot to do, especially if we partner with. A lot to do, especially if we partner with the chamber and try and get business.
And get our fraternal organizations involved too. Eagles, Elks, all of them. Get everybody involved. This really could make this a big celebration. Everybody go down to the museum that day, you know, and just keep it going all the way around. Okay, what would you like to do, guys?
You already said it. I mean,
I'll make the motion to go with what Marissa said.
So Councilman Atkinson's motion is to go with July 3rd and direct the city manager to work out the logistics of getting this organized.
Yes.
You know, and out of all the presentations, who could we have as the best person to set this up is Marissa. She has done so many projects in this town for Coalinga. She does a great job. So I hate putting more on her, but I know she can handle it and she'll do a great job. Okay, do we have that motion?
I made the motion, yes.
Okay, made by Atkinson,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ramirez. Roll call, please.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
A big aye.
Councilman Singleton,
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
Also vote aye. Okay, guys, we're gonna have a 4th of July this year. That's great. Okay, next we have item number 4, discussion, direction, and potential action items regarding council reorganization of the mayor pro tem position. Marissa?
It's different from, we can go with number 5 first.
You skipped 4, I think, the rank-based elections.
Pardon me?
Number 4?
Our agenda has them in different orders.
Oh, that's awkward. Okay. So on your agenda for number 4, it has reorganization.
Yes.
Oh, mine has that on 5.
Okay. Which one, how would you like to do it?
You're the mayor. It's your call.
Okay, we'll go to item number 5. Discussion, direction, and potential action items regarding rank-based elections. Mario?
Thank you, Mayor. So what I'd like to do tonight, this was a request from Councilman Atkinson. I just kind of want to introduce what we're actually talking about. Most people haven't heard about the topic. So I want to introduce that to you, make sure you understand it, and then we can get into the details about how we would actually make that happen at a later date. But so what we're talking about is a thing called ranked choice voting, or sometimes people call it instant runoff voting. And I'm going to give you an example that I think is probably the easiest for people to digest. So every year around November, I'm on my way home and I call my wife and it's late. And so I always call and ask, hey, I'm going to stop at Starbucks. Do you want something? And she always asks, do they have peppermint mochas yet? And I say, I don't know. What do I know? I got to wait till I get there. Well, do they have pumpkin spice mochas? Still, right? I'm like, I don't know. And she says, well, if they have peppermint mochas, I want a peppermint mocha. If they don't have peppermint mochas, then I want a pumpkin spice. And if they don't have pumpkin spice, then give me a white chocolate mocha. So, okay, done. I hang up, go to Starbucks, do the thing, take her whatever her choice is. That is basically ranked choice voting. Okay, she has a first choice, a second choice, and a third choice. And it could go on and on, right? You can do the exact same thing with elections. instead, what we have now and what a lot of places use is you get one vote on one candidate, and we use a system called first past the post. Lots of people don't know that's what it's called, but that's what it's referred to. And the first past the post system is not a majority vote system. It's just first past the post. Whoever has the most votes out of the available candidates wins. If you have two candidates, then somebody has to get the majority, right? But as soon as you introduce a third candidate, it means that the winner doesn't necessarily have to win a majority of the votes. So when you're talking about a council district, if you have 3 people in there, somebody could win with way under 50% of the vote. I mean, you could, if you all generally split it equally, somebody could win with 34% of the vote. And what that really is the flip side of is that, upwards of 67% of the people didn't vote for that person. So that council person is elected, but because the citizens only get 1 vote, 67% of the people didn't vote for them. So the ranked choice voting is a way to make sure that no matter who gets elected, a majority of the people have elected that person. And they do that by filling out a ballot that basically has a rank. So I'll use the 3 councilmen up there. So imagine you guys were running against each other in one district. I would have an option, and the ballot would. I'm going to show you a video of this in a few minutes. But as a citizen, I'm in the district. I go to the poll, and it would say, "Tell me your first choice," and I could put Manny, for example. And it would also have a spot, "Tell me your second choice," and I could put Ray. And then the third choice, I could put Adam. I could also do any number of other things. I could just say, I just want Manny. I don't want to vote second and third. I just want Manny. I don't care for the other 2 guys. I could also say, well, I want Adam, my first choice, Manny, second choice. I don't want to make a third choice. I could do that too. But what ends up happening is all the first place votes get counted. And if somebody has more than 50%, that person automatically is the winner of the election. If nobody gets 50%, then what happens is the person with the least amount of votes gets eliminated. And then all the people who voted for that person as their first choice, who came in last in the first round, all those votes get looked at and they go to the second choice. So for example, if we had the same election and Councilman Atkinson came in last, if I voted for Councilman Atkinson, now my second choice votes gets counted. So my second choice vote could go to Manny, for example, and there's a runoff between Ray and Manny. Now this doesn't happen at different time frames. So think back to my Starbucks example. Once my wife told me what she wanted, we hung up, right? That's it. So this happens in the same way. You have 1 vote, they go to the poll 1 time, and these runoffs, if nobody gets 50%, they all happen at the county level. The people, the individual voter has had their say. It automatically gets done. And so at election night, it just processes through if that's the case. So you don't have to go back. You don't have to send in anything else. They know your preference, and it gets run and it goes along. So that's generally how the plan goes. Coalinga is a little unique in that we face another issue, which is the issue of the districts and the size of Coalinga. And, we came to this in 2017 because we were threatened with litigation, right? So you had these attorneys from the outside saying, hey, we think your system of at-large, so no districts, was disenfranchising people's vote, diluting votes. And so that's why we were forced to go to the districts in order to comply with the California Voting Rights Act. But ranked choice voting eliminates that issue because you get these first and second and third choices, right? And how many choices depends on how many seats you have, other things like that as we start setting up a system. But it complies so that you don't have to have districts if you don't want them. You could go back to at-large and have a certain number of seats up for election, just depending on when council people were terming off. And depending on that, that's how you would structure the election. But This is not anything new. It's used all over the world. It's used all over the United States. It's used in a lot of spots in California. So it's just a different way to tabulate these things. Or tabulate the election. It's totally compliant with the Voting Rights Act. One of the biggest couple of cases that are being used, the entire state of Maine voted in the last presidential election under ranked choice voting. And Alaska, just in the November election, they just adopted ranked choice voting. So the whole state of Alaska is going to be going to that as well. Let me give you a couple other examples where it's being used. So in California, Albany, California, it's, well, let me give you there's a whole list. I'll name off some of them that are already being used. Places in Delaware, Colorado, Oregon, California, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Mexico, Minnesota, New York City, Utah. I mentioned Maine, Maryland. So that's a number of places where it's already being used, and then coming up, as I mentioned, the whole state of Alaska, Albany, California, Amherst, Massachusetts, Bloomington, Minnesota, Boulder, Colorado, Burlington, Vermont, Eureka, California, Palm Desert, California. So this is not a new system, but going back to the districts, when we created the districts in 2017, that was based on the 2010 census. So obviously now we went through another census, and you, just like every other city that has districts, has to redraw, or at least look at whether you have to redraw the districts, which means you have to hire a demographer, go through the data, council has to pick a map, and the districts get redrawn. That's something that can be avoided in ranked choice voting because you don't have that issue. Because of the way the system works, you really can't, disenfranchise people. It's arguably you get more than one vote, depending on who you're voting for and who your candidate is. So the idea is that behind ranked choice voting is that you get representation that at least a majority of the people voting on the position agree on, because they have to. That's part of the ranked choice voting scheme. There's a couple other benefits that people talk about. Typically, one of them is that you can't, spoil somebody's campaign. So what is done sometimes is getting people into a district election, especially in a size of Coalinga and other cities around here, like Lemoore and Hanford, and those aren't big cities. So the more people that enter the race, the smaller the percentage that people usually get that win. And it's also sometimes used as a tactic to take votes away from other people. And so then, the whole district ends up getting a candidate that, maybe 80% of the people really didn't want. But it is used as a tactic. The other thing that the studies show is that the campaigns become, I'll say, more civilized, because if you know that you may not win a majority of the votes, it becomes not in your favor to start attacking your opponents, because you may need those second place votes from their voters. So, for example, if Manny's running against Ray, in ranked choice voting, it doesn't really do any good for Manny to go out and say, "Oh, Ray's terrible. Ray's the worst, person I know. He's a dirty politician," etc. Because if there's 3 people in the race and Ray ends up getting the least amount of votes, Manny will need those votes, your second place votes, to help him beat Adam, and vice versa. So a lot of studies show that you get less dirty campaigns going to ranked choice voting. And I think I had one more thing that I wanted to mention. Oh, it also, one of the big things, not necessarily in council elections, but in presidential elections, it takes away the idea that voting for a third party is a wasted vote. In the first past the post, right, you hear that a lot. Like, I don't want to vote for a third party because I'm just going to, my vote doesn't count for anything. But in ranked choice voting, you always have a backup, right? You can vote for that third party and feel confident that, hey, even if they just get creamed, my second choice vote is going to get counted for my second choice, and I still have a way to participate in the election. So those are the big. That's a big overview. The county of Alameda is in California is ranked choice voting county, and they put together a video that Sean's going to bring up, and it kind of gives you an example. And I'm going to pause a couple times on the way through. It's a short video. It's only about 5 minutes. And we'll talk, and I'll give you some examples as we go along.
This November, voters in Berkeley, Oakland, and San Leandro will use ranked choice voting to elect most local officials. You may be wondering, what exactly is ranked choice voting? It's an important question. Ranked choice voting allows voters to rank candidates in order of preference when they fill out their ballot. This makes it possible to elect local officials with a majority of votes without the need for a separate runoff election. When you receive your ballot, it will consist of multiple ballot cards. Some of these cards will be identical to ballots you have used in the past. But the ranked choice ballot card looks different. The ranked choice ballot card will have 3 columns, each listing the name of all candidates running in the election. When marking the ranked choice ballot, you select your first choice candidate in the first column by completing the arrow pointing to them. You will then mark your second choice candidate by completing the arrow pointing to them in the second column. For your third choice candidate, you complete the arrow pointing to the candidate in the third column.
Can you pause it there, Sean?
If you wish to vote for a qualified write-in candidate.
So this is, like I said, this is just an example. In this particular election, they have 3 candidates or 3 spots that are up. And so it can vary from city to city or the election, what particular we're doing. But again, in the first column, they're saying, hey, peppermint mocha. Second column, they're saying pumpkin spice. And then, I don't want anything, or, just give me whatever they got. And so that's the same process. The ballot looks the same. You just draw on it. And go ahead, Sean. Do you guys have any questions?
Now, is this citywide?
Yes.
It's citywide.
Well, it really is. If you want to do it in Coalinga, you can do it for however you want it, right? So some places have it certain offices only, and they kind of give it a test run. The county is countywide, so they do it throughout the whole county for every elected office. That's how they do it.
I got a quick question.
Sure.
So in regard to this right here, what's going to keep a citizen from voting all 3 the same person?
You can, but it doesn't make any difference, because if you vote the same person every time, your vote actually doesn't change unless your first person gets eliminated. And if they get eliminated, then they go to your second choice and it's the same person. They've already been eliminated. So nothing happens. And she'll kind of talk about that right now. If you do that, it's not fraudulent. It won't ever get counted after the first round. Go ahead, John.
Candidate, there is a blank line provided in each of the 3 choice columns. Write in the candidate's name, then complete the arrow pointing to their name. Please keep in mind that you should not choose the same candidate for your first, second, and third choice. If you select the same candidate in more than 1 column, your vote will still count only once. When the polls close on election day, all of the first choice votes are counted. Any candidate who receives a majority, which is more than 50% of the vote, is declared the winner. However, if no candidate receives more than 50% of the first choice votes, a process of eliminating candidates and redistributing votes begins. First, the candidate with the fewest number of first choice votes is eliminated. That is candidate B. Therefore, candidate B is eliminated. Those who selected the eliminated candidate as their first choice will have their vote transferred to their second choice. Then, all the votes are recounted. If any of the remaining candidates receives more than 50% of the votes, as candidate C does in the example shown here, he or she is declared the winner. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the votes, then the process of eliminating candidates and transferring their votes is repeated until one candidate has a winning majority. Now, we will demonstrate ranked choice voting with a real example. We have 3 candidates, Abe, Bob, and Jackie. Abe has received 3 votes. Bob has received 5 votes, and Jackie has received 4 votes. With 12 total votes cast, one of the candidates needs 7 votes to receive a majority, 50% plus 1 vote. As you can see, none of these candidates received a majority. So therefore, we must have a round of elimination and transfer. Because no candidate received a majority, the candidate who received the fewest number of first choice votes is eliminated from the election. In our example, this is candidate Abe. But because Abe is eliminated from the election, we must spend a little bit of time transferring the votes to help determine who the winner will be. Of the voters who picked Abe as their first choice candidate, 2 chose Bob as their second choice, and 1 chose Jackie as their second choice. Because of the elimination of candidate Abe, these second choice votes are transferred to the 2 remaining candidates. After the votes are transferred, we see that candidate Bob has 7 votes and candidate Jackie has 5 votes. In other words, Bob now has a majority. Therefore, he is declared the winner. We hope that you have learned more about ranked choice voting and who is elected using this method. And of course, there is more information available for your review at our website, www.acgov.org/ROV. Also, feel free to contact us at Alameda County Registrar of Voters, 1225 Fallon Street, room G1, Oakland, California, 94612. Or you can call us at 510-272-69.
So that if you're interested in learning more, they do have, the County of Alameda has a good section of information on their website. I would encourage you to look at it. It goes through kind of like all the what ifs and, a lot of different questions about the system and how it works. They're a really good resource. They've been doing it for, I guess, going on 11 years now. But like I said, it's something that's catching on. I happened to catch a news article the other day that said about half of the states right now, in one form or another, are trying to expand ranked choice voting either on the local level or statewide. But that's I don't know if Councilman Atkinson has anything else to add, but that's the system. If you'd like me to bring some more details on how it would work and how we actually implement it, I'm happy to do that. But it is, it's kind of technical and we'd have to get some information from the county. But it is doable.
Any questions from the council?
No, I just know that a lot of people hate districts. A lot of people in Coalinga hate districts, and they would love to see us go out of districts. I'm just trying to find ways that we can make it happen for the people. If this is the way, I don't, that's up for us to decide. But I think maybe we can look into it just a little bit more. Not make a decision on where we're going to go, but possibly bring something back and let us look at that. I know we had the census coming up, so we're going to have to pay again to have the district lines redrawn, and that's something that's going to be recurring if we stay in districts. That's going to be a cost to the city. We could also have a lot more participation in council elections, because it's going to be wide open for the whole city to decide and not just our little particular districts. We got like 2,000 people in each district. It's ridiculous that a city this size has to go into districts, in my opinion. And then we look at Mayor Ramsey's district. We have hospital child molesters and rapists who are voters in his district. It is conceivable that because we are in districts, at some point in time, it is conceivable that a patient at the mental hospital could win an election, and they would be up here. So one of the ways we could also eliminate that is to get away from districts, because it's very unlikely that if it was citywide that we would ever have someone from the hospital win in that kind of race.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can you get some information on the actual cost versus what other cities are actually paying, what this is actually to cost from the county or the government?
Yeah, so generally I will get some numbers. That's kind of what I was talking about is talking to the county. Generally from the city, it's just going to require some staff time to change the ordinance because there's nothing really we have to do. We don't have to draw boundaries anymore. I mentioned the demographer earlier. The cost for the demographer is generally $20,000 to $30,000. I think we spent 20 last time. And so, that's a one-time cost to draw the lines. I mean, it is a difficult task to draw the lines. And even then that doesn't necessarily save you. There's still cities who are in districts who continue to get sued because of the way you draw your lines. So, there's still litigation over that. It's not just being in districts means you're not going to get sued. There's still constantly litigation over that. But I will reach out to if that's the consensus of the council, I can at least reach out to the county and see what that would cost. It's really just a matter of sending out the ballots, like how they do that. And there is a cost to the districts because, as you guys know, there's a cost to the county to prepare the individual district ballots for the city, which is a lot more legwork than just sending the same ballot out to everybody in the city.
Now, does this have to go to the vote of the people or anything, or can we do this here?
It's just in the ordinances right now. And so I believe it would be just a council decision.
Okay, thank you. Council, you want them to bring some stuff back then? I think it's
I think it would be a good idea. We see the cost, and that would eliminate the districts, right?
That'd save us a lot of money in the long run.
And any lawsuits against it will still be on the table or anything like that, or what are we looking on that?
No, so the ranked choice voting scheme, the way to do it, has been tested and litigated specifically against the California Voting Rights Act, and the courts have found it's compliant. So it's an alternative to using districts.
Okay, yeah, sounds pretty good.
Okay, I think you need a vote, or do you need just consensus?
No, just consensus at this time. I mean, I'll start working on some of the logistical things to bring back those numbers to you and see if it's something that you guys want to pursue.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go to discussion and direction on potential action items regarding council reorganization of the mayor pro tem position. Marissa.
Thank you. So this item was requested as a future agenda item by Councilman Atkinson. So I'll turn it over to him to speak on it.
Look, this isn't something we all want to talk about. It's just something we want to be a part of. But I think it may be something that needs to happen. There's some things that are concerning that are happening behind the scenes that I'm very concerned with about what may be coming forward, and things that we need to prepare for. I originally was going to come up with something else, but I'm not going to do it this way. It's not going to do any good for Coalinga. It's not going to do any good for the people. So I just go with this. I brought this item to the table last meeting because I realized how integral it is to have someone with experience running the mayor and mayor pro tem positions. I feel we should have our most experienced members at the helm. That is very important, especially with what's going on right now. Originally, I stated I was not seeking the position of mayor pro tem because it is a heavy burden at times. It is very difficult. Those two seats are very difficult. It's not easy. It is an office that should not be taken lightly, especially when we are experiencing some of the most unprecedented events in our lifetimes. However, in the light of the last meeting, I have realized that we need someone that knows about the council and how the semantics work. We do not have the time to train a new mayor pro tem, especially because we have so many things going on and most things are happening remotely or virtually. I have been on council for 3 years now, and I have learned how to run a meeting, how to prioritize agenda items, as well as work with others for the good of this town, which is my town. For this reason, I feel that I'm well suited to put my hat in the ring as mayor pro tem at this time. Some may say that this is personal. Let me assure you, I take the business very personal. I take the city business very personal. I think everyone would agree with that. But this is not to denigrate any other person on council, because I know everyone up here has the best intentions for this town. I feel we have qualities that we may bring to the table, and in time we all have the needed experience to hold these important positions on council. We need to work together to provide opportunities for our new members to grow and learn so that they too can be confident. I have, as a council member, reached out to Congress, senators, I have had, Ray and I have met with the senator that I called meetings with. The mayor and I have met with senators that I have called meetings with. I have had David Valadeo come to this very chamber. I can make these calls and senators make meetings with me. I can make calls to Valadeo and he will have a meeting with me. And I have proved that in the past. I feel as Mayor Pro Tem, I can foster those relationships with Mayor Ramsey, bring in serious and involved counsel to the table that will aid our city in recovery from the pandemic and the many detrimental effects it's had and it's had in its wake. So that's what I say, what I'm bringing to the table. Like I said, this is not something that I wanted to be part of. It's something that I think is needed because of things going on in the background that are very, very concerning to the city and to our finances. And we need someone to safeguard that. And, you know, I try and be the voice for the city every time I can. So whatever the council wants to do, I will respect.
Thank you. Anybody else like to say anything?
In the situation at hand, I've always believed that we go by rank and file. If you've been here, you know the system, then you should be in the system because you're the mayor and you know the system. You've been doing this for centuries. I mean, and you've done a great job, Ron. I mean, it is what it is. But if anything were to happen, God forbid, that you did not want to fulfill that, or for whatever reason, then it would only be in the best interest of the city to have Adam as a mayor. I know people will say yes and no and whatever they're going to do, but because he's known and he's shown what he has done for the city. I mean, it's not just what he says, because for these two to just come on board the day that they came and sat down here, he put it in a proposal for the ambulance. Just by sitting in Fresno seeing, hey, we've got our guys tied up here, we need to fix that. He didn't just say it, he did it. He went out and found a ways to generate another ambulance without even costing the city, which is going to pay back in return. I mean, that to me speaks volume of what he's putting forth. I mean, and so when it came up, of course, I'm going to make a motion for Adam to be mayor pro tem. It is what it is, because I know my experience is nowhere his or not even close to yours. I will take that third seat back, definitely, without any qualms about anything, because I've seen what he done, I've seen what you've done, and I'm also seeing what the other council members have done. So for me to sit back and watch, that's learning for me. I don't ever want to come in and jump in and assume a position that I'm not familiar with. This is city council. This is for the city. It's not for us. We all sat down here to represent the city. That's our number one goal. So for me, I mean, I think it would be best fitting for it to be Adam as the mayor pro tem. And that's who, if you want to nominate yourself, that's who I would second that motion for, because of the experience of what I've seen him do. And granted, everybody doesn't like everybody, and you guys know that for a fact. We're never going to please 100% of the people all the time. But it's the actions that we do when we sit up here that dictates how we should be seated up here. Personal or not, I don't bring personal things here. This is not the place for it. This is not the place for it. But I do feel that he should be the mayor pro temp. I mean, and if next upcoming, you don't run, he doesn't run, then yeah, you can go down the line and pick whoever has the experience and the knowledge of that. I mean, but I think it should be a seniority-based, knowledge-based thing.
Anyone else?
Yeah, when we had that meeting a month ago to the date, I was told that I was abusing my power. I didn't abuse my power. I followed the guidelines of the code of conduct. Marissa, question to you. Did I follow proper protocol, proper procedures
For requesting a special meeting?
for requesting a special meeting?
Yes.
And then asking for the meeting again?
Yes.
The reason I didn't ask anybody else was because when I talked to one person, I can't go talk to another about it. So I went directly to the city manager to ask exactly what was going, because it was a possible litigation. Didn't matter who it was, any citizen, doesn't matter which council member. I was calling a special meeting to see if we should actually protect the council member or toss it out. And it got put out there that I was I had an ulterior motive. That's what it was put out. I was immediately bashed on social media, completely bashed on social media, saying I was abusing my power. There was a few people, citizens of Coalinga, that got on there and they spoke their mind, which they have every right to. But I feel myself, I did not abuse my power whatsoever. I stayed within the guideline of the code of conduct. What was said to me on social media was against code of conduct. So I don't see what I'm doing wrong. If I didn't bash on anybody, all I did was had a question. That was all I had. And one of the citizens said something about, isn't this a censored, is this something that can be censored? All that was a question. It doesn't mean I'm going to actually try to push to censor somebody, have anybody recalled, yell or bash at them. I didn't get on social media and bash back. I took it. That's exactly what I did. Both times I took it. But now I did this position on city council was so I could be the voice of the people. And right now, certain citizens are saying one thing, a lot of other citizens are saying another, and a lot of others are kind of in between. They're mixed. I don't think I have abused my power whatsoever. I've been on boards before. All I have to do is learn the process of this. It does not take me long at all. I'm already learning the process. So my suggestion is to not reorganize the mayor pro tem position.
Okay, thank you. Manny, would you like to say anything?
Yeah. One thing I gotta say is like, sorry about that. One thing I gotta say about we on the table, we're a team. We're not just one, you know. It's great. It's great when somebody does go out and reach out a little bit more, has experience and everything. Sometimes I use this kind of metaphor as a coach. Me coaching football sports for so many years. When I get my coaches, I believe in them that if I'm absent, I believe in them 100% that they could take care of those kids in any kind of situation. Same right now that I got chosen as a coach as well. My head coach believes in age coaching others that we could take over and care in the safety and be sure that those kids are safe. The thing is that we up here, it's not about how many candy bars I'm holding in one hand that, okay, this is gonna make me great, or this guy is holding 2 candy bars, not gonna make him great. I believe in a chance. And I believe if that chance is given or that chance has been spotted, put on, it should go. I'll take myself out of this, but four of you candidates are well qualified. I believe so. I've worked in his business. He has ran it out the way it was supposed to be ran. I've been on boards. That doesn't make me that I'm more experienced than anybody else. But like I mentioned, the metaphor as being a coach, it's having support and a backup, believing in your own table. And that's what I believe. We're here for the community, and that's one thing, just the community. And not only that, the community and our fellow workers that come with this city. And if Mr. Adam could do a great job, Mr. Singleton could do an awesome job, Mr. Ramsey could do an awesome job, Mr. Horn can do an awesome job, then great. I got backup for anybody, So that's one thing. We're on this table because people believe in us. And that's basically what I gotta say, but just, I believe in a chance.
Okay. Well, I guess it's up to me now.
Mayor Ram,
Pardon me?
I do have somebody who has their hand raised. I don't know if you wanted to allow for comments or not.
Okay, we'll do that in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think, like we said last time, we need to get off social media and do the city's work here. As the mayor, I have trust in all you guys. I really do. I trust all you guys. And if I tell you something in confidence, I think it's going to be in confidence. I know it's going to be in confidence because I know all you guys now. And I want to keep it that way. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. And we've got to look at that too. I mean, as all 5 of us do. And some of the stuff isn't good at all, and it's not good for the city. And you just have to make your own choice on what's going to happen. And this right here, this was really bothering me a lot because we want to keep this council together, and we don't want any friction. And we told everybody we were going to work together. When we got together, we told everybody we were going to get together. But there's stuff happening in the background that we got to watch too. And a lot of people don't know what's happening in the background, and we can't tell them what's going on in the background. So with that, I'm going to go with the reorganization of the council right now. I think it'll be the best decision for the city right now. And it doesn't have to be Adam. It could be Singleton, either one. So, or even, if Manny wanted it or something, but I'm not going to say, we do need somebody with experience. So that's all I have. Do we have okay, now you can go ahead and talk. Bring that person up. Shannon.
Hold on just a moment. Sean, are you there? It's only giving me an option to chat, but not allow the person to speak. Oh, the person's disappeared now. Oh, never mind, Mayor Ramsey. It looks like they're gone.
It's right there at the bottom of the screen, Shannon. It says citizen. They were promoted to panelist.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is anybody there right now?
Thank you.
Do we have a name, Shannon?
No, they're just identified as citizen.
Okay, citizen, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can try to talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. You've got some feedback in the background though. If you have a radio or television, please turn it off.
Okay, I believe it's taken care of. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. This is Greg Cody, citizen. Since I've been mentioned in this whole fiasco, I'd like to make a comment with all due respect, Mayor.
Go ahead.
First, I'd like to point out that I'm not here to harass, insult anybody. With the exception of career Councilman Ron Ramsey, I have attended more council meetings than all of our current council members combined. I have seen many meetings that were called closed session meetings when there's potential action items. And the person that is discussed is recused. The councilman that is accusing this of being a wrongdoing has attended those meetings, and he had no problem whatsoever with it until it's about him, and then he cries foul ball. Now let me move on to how this all started. This ambush upon James Horn. I did not know there was this agenda item until the agenda was posted. And I thought that it was from Marissa Trejo because that's the only name it gave. It wasn't until the councilman went into one of his fits of rage and blasted Mr. Horn on social media, major violations of the code of conduct, freedom of speech, please.
Hold on just a second.
I became aware of this.
Hang on. They said hang on.
Hold on. Go ahead. All right. Okay. Okay. Greg, you've got about
Yes.
you've got about a minute to go, if you could, please.
I can't hear you.
You got a minute to go.
You have a minute.
Oh, well, Nathan had like 5 minutes. Maybe I can have the same consideration because this is a little more important.
I'm sorry, right now we're limited to 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. From where I left off, I had no idea that Mr. Horn had called this meeting until the councilman had one of his compulsive fits of rage on social media. My name was mentioned, saying that I ordered Jim Horn to do that. I absolutely did not. Jim Horn did not act inappropriately. He did, in fact, go to the city manager, as he explained on the dais, and there is absolutely no reason whatsoever. This is an abuse of power. It's for political gain, and anyone that supports this is supporting this bad behavior. Now, I am not discounting any good thing the accuser councilman does, but his bad behavior overshadows it. He's currently under investigation. He has cost the city tens of thousands of dollars. He insults our police officers. He attacks our council members, our citizens, not only on the dais, but at city events. And is this what we want representing our city? That's up to you guys. But I know you guys don't want to be attacked. He says he respects what you say, but the last time he said that, he went home and said, you're all just a bunch of backyard deal makers. So knock yourself out, do what you're going to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cody. Okay, council, what would you like to do?
Let me see.
My motion would be for.
Okay, there's been a motion by Ray for Mayor Pro Tem to be Adam Atkinson. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a second by Adam Atkinson. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Singleton,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Nay.
Mayor Ramsey.
I vote no. Okay, now with that motion failed. I make a recommendation that Councilman Singleton be Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion by Ramsey and seconded by Atkinson for Mayor, for Singleton to be Mayor Pro Tem. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Ramsey,
I vote aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Yes.
Councilman Ramirez,
Nay.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn. Oh, excuse me, Councilman Singleton,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Horn,
Nay.
I can't hear.
Shannon, is everybody turned off?
I actually do not have access to change anything.
Okay. Motion carried. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Singleton. You're our new Mayor Pro Tem. And we'll just stay in our seats tonight and we'll change it later. Okay, with that, do we have any announcements? Do we have any council members' announcements?
I just want to make an announcement. I want to recognize again Marissa for doing a great job reaching out to citizens of the community. Also, I want to recognize the football teams, the juniors and the seniors that are heading for the playoffs. And if you get a chance and you're in Fresno, stop by Granite Park. If they win, they forward themselves to the Division I or Division II championship.
Is that going to be televised or anything? Do you know?
We're trying to get somebody. If not, it'll be photographs getting through social media. So hopefully it does. Hopefully
It possibly could be on social media then?
Possibly, yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yes. And another thing, I want to recognize a group of individuals that came from Fresno, Salinas, around the valley, to reach out to me and help them clean a religious mural that's up at 188. We were up there cleaning up all the glass, all the boards, all the mess, all the trash can, the tires, everything that was right there, and trying to see if we could work with Caltrans to maybe save the mural. I seen this in social media actually, and it's pretty unique what they've done.
What was the location of that?
It's about like maybe I would say 5 minutes up on 198, and I guess it's got the attention of a lot of people that travel there and out of state. So I was happy to help volunteer with them. So, and thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, City Manager, do you have anything?
I just wanted to publicly thank Benji from the Chamber for the annual dinner that he did on last Friday. It was a really good event, and they did the Police Officer of the Year and Firefighter of the Year awards. So that was very nice, and I just think it was a nice event, and he did pull it all together at the very last minute, trying to make sure that we could still have an annual dinner this year, and I thought he did an amazing job, and I don't think he gets enough recognition because he is the chamber. Like there's no other employees there, and I thought he did a very good job.
Yes, he did. I attended that. It was a lot of fun, and we had some good people out there, and it worked out really good. He did a good job. Okay, I have no announcements myself. Is there any future agenda items?
Yeah, well, Ray and I were at the fire department today, and we checked out some fire trucks that were pretty old, very old to say the least. I think I would just like to see if you can come to us in a future meeting with possibly some lease options on, not lease, finance options on some ladder truck engine and the patrol vehicle. just take a look at what it looks like. Maybe we can afford it, maybe we can't, but at least we can have the numbers in front of us. We have some ridiculously old fire trucks out there, 1986. Ray was about 45 when that one was a can. But so hopefully we can get some numbers on those.
Yeah, I can certainly do that for you. That's going to take some considerable time. Would the second meeting in April be okay or any? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I remember when we got that ladder truck, it was from the city of Pebble Beach, yes.
Pebble Beach, yeah.
And we actually, when the day they brought it here, we were having a football game down at the stadium. And they called me on the phone, told me they had gotten the truck in. So I said, well, bring it down. Everybody is from Coalinga is down at the football game. So bring it down there and let everybody see it. So everybody, they brought it down. They brought it right into the stadium. And everybody was kind of looking to see what happened. But that was our first ladder truck that I think. And that thing has lasted a long time for us. And then it had Pebble Beach right on it. And then we got the new sign that said Coalinga Fire on it. And it's been there ever since. And things worked out for us really good. And it's gone through water fights and fires. And I don't know if it's, how many does it have, has it done very many rescues? Do you know, or?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Because I know it can be used for those too. I know it, if we would have had it in like 69, we could have used it because we had some kids out in the creek bed that they had to go out there and get and see too, because that was the old days. But I was a kid in those, but I wasn't the one they had to save. But they did bring some kids in on that. So I don't have anything else. With that, we have no closed session today. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming and thanks for all the comments from our audience. And get ready for the 4th of July. Start talking to all the vendors. And if you have any questions, go ahead and get a hold of Marissa. And thanks everybody. And this meeting is adjourned.